Welcome to another episode of Health Matters with PA Lynn Szabo. I'm Heather Polen. And what are we going to talk about today, Lynn?
We're going to update bedbugs. I know I've talked about them before, but I have two goals. One is to refresh everybody's memory during the travel season because travel and bedbugs kind of go hand in hand. And the other one is there's a little bit more updated information about them, so I thought I'd do the deep dive. God, they're gross.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Do we have like a problem with bed bugs? Sorry, I totally just stepped all over you on that one. Do we have a problem with bed bugs in Crescent City or like Northern California as a whole, or is it more in a warmer climate thing?
I think we might have a problem with them in some of the hotels.
Here in Crescent City?
Yeah.
Wow, I've never heard of anybody in Crescent City ever having an issue with bed bugs.
Yeah,
so
that's the
sure.
other thing is that I don't think people want to advertise it.
Oh.
Because it's icky.
Well, it is icky, but we know about lice in the community, but right, it's like baseball season. There's kids are going to get lice, but I've never heard anybody talk about.
I'll bet you if I had to pick two spots, one would be the hotel industry is fighting this, probably on a chronic basis, and then also the firefighters. So when I was a firefighter, scabies were a big problem, and scabies are kind of go along in the same pathway that bed bugs do. So when you're a firefighter in the middle of the night, if you get called to cover a different station, you have to grab your go bag, and then you're sleeping in somebody else's sheets for the rest of the night.
But we don't do that here in Crescent City. You go home. Like we have volunteer firefighters.
I'm talking about what used to be called CDF, now called CAL FIRE.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I forget about them.
Yeah. So anyway, bed bugs are ectoparasites. That means parasites that feed above the surface of the skin, and they're obligate blood feeders. So they're kind of like little vampire suckers.
Ew.
And they cause a rash at the bite site, which may be itchy. It doesn't have to be. But sometimes people get systemic symptoms like fever. And then rarely people get anaphylaxis. So it's possible to have quite a severe allergic reaction to them, although it's super uncommon. But they do not transmit infectious disease.
Oh, that's good. So we're not talking about like fleas and they're going to spread the Black Plague.
Right. Or, in the concentration camps of Europe, scabies, there was a big scabies problem and they passed typhus. So those are extraordinary conditions that I would say don't exist anymore, but they do.
Yeah, they shouldn't exist anymore. They shouldn't have existed ever, but
ever. Yeah. But there's such a gross out, kind of freak out reaction to them that people forget that they don't really, they're just annoying. They're not dangerous really for most people. Diagnosis is super easy, and the bites are characteristic. And they're on uncovered skin, so it's not like they crawl. They might crawl up a loose pants leg, for example, but they wouldn't be able to crawl up, let's say somebody sweats where there was an elasticized waistband and leg band.
Oh, wow. Okay, so just sleep in a sleeping bag that's sealed up when you go someplace.
Right.
Okay.
And they're about 2 to 5 millimeters. They're the reaction is kind of red and raised. It's not like a hive, but they can be kind of in linear clusters. So not circular clusters, but like a little linear pattern where the bug just kind of goes on down the buffet line and bites here, then a little bit later bites there.
Wow, that's so weird.
I know, but it makes them kind of easy to diagnose. Reactions to the bites become worse as the patient gets more exposure. So this is a little rabbit hole that's worth commenting on. So allergies worsen and are worse in things we are repeatedly exposed to. So when somebody tells me, let's say they're 65 years old and that they've never had allergies, that to me means they're more likely to get allergies because they have been repeatedly exposed to allergen triggers through their whole life.
So is it common for older people to develop allergies?
To get allergies and then be in denial about it.
Gotcha. I thought we outgrew them for some reason. We're going to have to do an allergy episode now.
Yeah, no, we don't really. The immune system is, one of the foundational, jobs or duties of the immune system is to always be vigilant and to remember what was recently past, but also what was distantly past. Okay. They can feed on other mammals in the house, and this kind of alarmed me because I have a cat. And they can even jump to birds. So there's some bed bugs that have jumped on, temporarily onto backyard chickens and then back to a new host, which might be.
So they're just crawling around your, because I could think of bed bugs like in the bed. So they're just crawling around your house looking for something to feed on.
Right. They like the bed. The bed's a good environment, but they're not like setting out to find a bed. So the treatment is only symptomatic, and they've plagued humans about the last 3,500 years based on fossilized specimens in Egypt. They have plagued humans for about 3,500 years based on fossilized specimens in Egypt.
So 3.5 millennia. So we didn't have them before then? I want to know who...
Those are the oldest ones we found.
All the fossils. That is so gross.
So, first of all, I think it's a little weird that somebody's academic career would be finding fossilized specimens of bed bugs and probably studying them.
Right, but that's actually kind of cool.
It is cool, but...
Because, right, if you find a bug, I mean, that's how we've learned that it was the fleas that caused the Black Plague.
Totally.
That's how we learn different things, so that somebody's brain is like, ooh, I want to study fossilized bugs and see how they've affected human history.
I know, I think it's...
how do you... Like, you're sitting around in kindergarten. What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a nerd, and I want to do this.
Yeah. Well, most entomologists I know are kind of nerdy.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah. So, and where do you think their starter job is? I always thought this was interesting. The bug station. Those are baby, nerdy entomologists.
That is freaking... I had no idea. I'm going to have to stop and ask them if they've seen any cool bugs lately.
Right. So they find you by monitoring carbon dioxide and warmth. That's why the bed thing.
Oh my God. So like the bugs are watching your breathing and then they're responding to your... Gosh, that is so gross.
I know.
And cool at the same time.
They're kind of stalking you.
Ew. Well, I don't like the stalking aspect of it, but I had some personal experiences.
And they don't really have to, they can go 6 months without eating. They can just kind of hang out. But oftentimes they feed every week or so. But they're pretty resilient little guys.
6 months without eating? Mm-hmm. They're so not Portuguese.
Guess not. So if they've been around for so long, why are they such a bother now? Well, international travel.
Yeah.
Suitcases, I guess, are a good place to hang out, too. Probably reminds them of beds, because they're right there in the seams of things,
Right, and then you have your skin cells and things are on the clothing and
right, but they're not eating skin cells. They're obligate.
No, but like
parasites.
They're attracted to you. You put your dirty clothes in there, and they were anything that got on there to get to you.
Right. That also implies they're global.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of just assumed with the world travel that we have nowadays, it's they're not hopping on the boat crossing the Atlantic.
Right. And then a use of secondhand goods, which is, we thought it's what we're told to do to be good to the environment, going down to St. Vinny's and, wow, that's a cool retro chair there that I'm going to bring home.
Oh, the furniture.
And if they can go 6 months without a blood feed, that means they're pretty resilient. So, anyway.
Oh my God, I just got new furniture from secondhand. Right. Now I'm going to go burn it in the yard.
I know. Ew. And then a greater awareness that it's a problem. So it's not like the numbers are increasing, probably to a certain extent numbers are increasing because they're opening up new frontiers to infect. But also we're more aware of them. I hadn't seen bed bug bites until I was about 30 years into my career. So, but I bet you I saw bites and didn't recognize them as bed bugs. We probably in the medical exam room, we probably said, oh, it's just some kind of insect bite. Put some hydrocortisone on it, take an antihistamine, don't worry about it. And then sent somebody back home to an infested house. Ew. Oh dear. So they're also becoming increasingly resistant to pesticide use.
Oh, that's not good.
Which doesn't surprise me because, we have this problem constantly where pests get treated with pesticides and then find a workaround with them, a genetic workaround to become more resilient and more tolerant of them. So what's the worst thing they can do to you? They're certainly gross, but it's a possibility of triggering or worsening asthma. Maybe that's why I cough. No, I don't have bed bugs.
I'm like, are you trying to tell us you have bed bugs?
Yeah.
And I hugged you today, Lynn.
God.
So they can trigger asthma? Like, so
Right.
If somebody has asthma, they can trigger an event, or
So
they can cause somebody to get asthma.
Both. If somebody has the genetic tendency toward asthma as an expression of an allergy, they can either trigger the initial asthmatic response and bring the new diagnosis forward, or once being allergic to it, they can make symptoms worse. It's known that a lot of kids with asthma and allergies are allergic to dust mites, which is a whole other little bugaboo that's in our beds and stuff. Yeah, bug. There's bugs living in our eyelashes. I mean, really, we could gross out.
We really need to gross everybody out on this one, and now I'm just going to close my eyes.
Yeah, that's right. Ew.
Lynn, I need trigger warnings. We're going to do a trigger warning on this one. It's okay, people.
Okay. So if somebody's allergic reaction gets worse to the extent that they have a really large or anaphylactic reaction, that could be bad. But here's what happens, and I think this is a lot of moms just trying to get through the day. They become so obsessed with them that this causes delusional parasitosis. So delusional parasitosis is a medical condition where people think they have bugs crawling under their skin. And, some of it is triggered by like amphetamine use, but some of it could be in a person who has a genetic predisposition to something like this, could be treated with a bed bug or could be triggered by a bed bug obsession.
Okay.
And what happens in the exam room when people have this is that they bring in little skin scrapings for you to look at the bug parts that they have, which aren't really there. So they bring in little cups of like rotting skin to prove that they've got them, but that it doesn't prove what they're actually seeing. What they're actually seeing is kind of a psychotic hallucination. It's a visual hallucination.
Wow. So they just need to be friends with the Pisces so they can figure out how to deal with their delusions together.
Right. Something like that. Or they could take antipsychotic medication, but they're super resistant to it.
That's because of the Pisces.
Yeah. And so the only person, I've seen this commonly in the exam room, especially in urgent care, but the only person I ever got freed from this, I approached it by saying, oh my God, with these writhing under your skin, you probably can't sleep. They probably keep you awake and it must be so hard. Let me give you something that'll calm your nerves and let you sleep at least. And so I gave him an atypical antipsychotic. He came back a week later and he was better.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Do they have to stay on that, or once the delusion is broken?
I think you can break the delusion.
And then you don't need the medication anymore?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should gather the Pisces together and help them.
Unless he was continuing the behavior that caused it, initially.
The amphetamines.
Yeah, maybe.
Gotcha.
In his case, he wasn't admitting to anything. And let me just say, hygiene has nothing to do with it. It really is a luck of the draw. It's kind of random. And it really commonly moves around during air travel, and so they recommended like cleaning your chair thoroughly. I've seen people do this on planes where they'll bring in a special spray and kind of wipe down their chair. And I always thought, I don't know, I have a great immune system. I'll probably just not do that. And I wondered why they did. And so it's actually a bed bug thing.
Is that effective though? If they're resistant, I mean, because you said heat. Is it effective if they're resistant to?
They don't like the smell of alcohol. So rubbing alcohol.
Oh, so it's not bourbon. It's rubbing alcohol.
Yeah, it's rubbing alcohol.
So if you're Pisces, don't drink the bourbon and have the delusions on the plane.
Yeah, I guess so. But if you're spraying with an alcohol spray, then if you're spraying with an alcohol spray, then you can make them go to your neighbor's seat where it smells better. So, important travel tip.
Buy your neighbor a bourbon, wipe yours with rubbing alcohol, and call it a day.
Yeah. And then they can, as we said before, they can infest wild animals like bats or birds. So if you're, I guess, like a wildlife rehabber, like I've done in my life, bring them into your house. My mom was right. Don't bring that thing into the house. Oh, well. But mostly it's brought home on beds, couches, clothing, and backpacks. So kind of interesting if you think you might have an like infestation of bed bugs. They're aggregations of bed bugs, and they like to hang out together. Makes sense.
So like little bug families.
Yeah, hey, this is a good house to live. Have a pungent, sweet smell like rotting raspberries. So
if you go to somebody's house and you can smell rotting sweet raspberries,
right,
it's probably a bed bug infestation, and you should go home quickly.
Yeah, don't sit down. So how do you prevent getting them? Well, you check your shoes before you go into your home, because I would actually, I saw some information that said you should spray your shoes with the rubbing alcohol, not for the reason that it kills them, but for the reason that it makes them think that your shoes aren't a good place to live. And then keep the shoes outside, maybe on a porch about 10 feet from a door.
Oh, man. So we need to go back to the old school way of having that entryway in Crescent City to block the wind.
Exactly.
Take your shoes off. Japanese culture.
Yeah. And change your clothes outside of your home. I don't know how we do this in Crescent City. That might be a little much.
Build taller hedges.
Yeah. Maybe go around to your back porch or something. So your neighbors are.
It's a whole new spin on.
What the hell are they doing?
A new spin on Naked Gardening Day, doesn't it?
Right. Put your clothes in a dryer. Hopefully that's located outside your home. I don't know of anybody that has a washer and dryer outside of their home and 10 feet away from the door.
There's some people who do have like a detached laundry room outside of their living space, but that's still, it's kind of a pain in the butt.
Well, yeah.
So you have to go outside naked, wash your clothes, and then come back into your house.
Right.
What will the bears think?
I don't know. And then when traveling, keep checking for them. Keep your suitcase and clothes up off the floor. So those little luggage stands that are in hotels? Use them. I don't think you should put your luggage on the bed, though, because if the bed's infested, that's not going to work.
It's not going to work either way, because you're going to sleep in the bed in your pajamas, take your pajamas, throw them in the suitcase, and then go home in the morning. So
no wonder people get kind of crazy about this.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Don't sit down on public transportation. So I don't know how, in the subway, maybe that's why standing's good in the subway. But how do you not sit down on a flight, say? I don't know.
Right, but even on a city bus or on the train or the BART in the Bay Area or whatever it is, you're still going to sit down. That's why you're taking the public transportation, is so you could sit and read your book while you're going from one place to the other.
I know.
Oh my God, Pisces are never going to leave their house now.
I know. I'm never going on a school field trip again to San Francisco without being grossed out. Anyway, vacuum home beds once a month. I never vacuumed my bed in my life. So,
Samesies.
yeah.
Like with the attachments, or like actually put your vacuum cleaner on your bed and vacuum
well,
it?
it probably depends on what attachment you have and how big your vacuum is. And like some types, some models are easy to move around like that, and some you're supposed to aggressively vacuum. I don't know what that means. Like scrub vacuum?
That means you find an Aries friend and you bring them over.
Yeah. Okay.
Lynn, I love you.
So interestingly, non-chemical methods are more effective than chemical methods.
Wow.
So if you have a secret plan that you're going to hire somebody and DDT bomb your house or something, that actually doesn't work as well as what we've been talking about, like alcohol spray in your boots and leave them outside.
Can you do the rubbing alcohol on your bed?
Yeah, but I imagine that they go into little seams and stuff, and that microenvironment might not be reached by a rubbing alcohol.
So squirt the rubbing alcohol into the seams and then find your Aries friend to aggressively vacuum?
Yeah, then what do you do if you decide to light one up while you're watching your favorite Grey's Anatomy?
Oh, yeah, you're going to burn.
That's not going to be
You're not supposed to smoke in your house anyway.
Not suggesting anybody does that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Right, and you're supposed to vacuum furniture aggressively as well, although I can't fathom that. But here's something important. Take the vacuum debris outside to the trash immediately, which I think is good common sense.
Right, but so if you have a bagless vacuum cleaner, do you have to then wash it? Because you never get everything out of that thing. I mean, there's always stuff stuck to the sides.
Right.
And can you see these little things?
Yeah, you can see them. They're about 2 to 5 millimeters, 2 to 4 millimeters. And so checking dryer lint is also important because, so what's their Achilles tendon, so to speak? Their Achilles tendon is washing in hot water and actually drying in hot water. And this is true. Drying in a hot dryer. So this is important for scabies too. So what is the average Del Norder to do if they don't have a washer and a dryer in their home? They have a limited supply of quarters. It's expensive to go to the laundromat, and you have like 10 loads to do. What I would do is stuff that's clean, I would dry it, because drying at high heat for an hour is the most effective thing you can do. Okay. So,
I'm going to squirrel here. What is the temperature for the hot water to kill them, and what is the high heat?
Hot water, I think, is 130 degrees in the night. I think high heat is about 145.
Right. I don't think we get that high on our hot water. I mean, you can, but that's scalding. We don't have it that high in our homes. I doubt that they have it that high at the laundromat.
Yeah, but sometimes at the laundromat, when I used to use it, I remember that it would be hot on my hands to take the clothing out. I'd have to wait for a minute, let it cool down. So as hot as you can, I think, is the answer to that problem.
Okay.
And so if you have basically clean clothes, you put them in a hot dryer for an hour. That I think is the best use of your quarters.
Okay.
You can also freeze, but you have to freeze at very low temperatures, so not a home freezer. And then steaming mattresses is also helpful in getting in around the mattress seams and stuff. And like I said before, insecticides are mostly ineffective because of resistance, and they're really unable to permeate areas that bedbugs aggregate to. So heat is really your friend. And like I said, if you have a limited number of quarters, focus on the dryers. I think the dryers will probably get hotter at a laundromat than the washing machines.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know that for sure. It's been a minute since I've been there. But some dryers have a cycle called, I had a dryer that had one called biologics cycle, which was really high heat for an hour. And
wow.
It was a nice way of saying, your kid brought home head lice, here's what you do.
That is so funny.
Yeah, it is.
Right, but with everything being energy efficient now, I'm going to go with that they don't run that hot.
I think you have to pay special attention, at least on the home machines, to setting it so that it's it's high enough.
Okay.
I know if I wash something in hot water on my machine at home, steam condenses on the glass viewing part. So that's above boiling, I would say, at least to some extent. Yeah.
And that's what we used to do for head lice. I don't see
Right.
people do that anymore. Like you boiled all of your brushes and combs,
Right.
all of your little hair ties, any like baseball hats, all of those things got boiled.
Pillows. For me, for my kids with head lice, it was pillows. I had to actually put the pillows in a dryer at the biologic cycle for an hour.
I was going to say pillows always went in the dryer.
And then when you take it out, it almost smells like burnt toast, I mean, it's pretty high. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the story on bed bugs. And the take home is chemicals don't work like you hope they would. And really, it's all about high heat. And if you have access to an industrial, like a kitchen freezer, and you want to put stuff in the freezer, it has to be, I think, overnight. And it'll freeze the little suckers.
Right. I wonder if that's something the master food preservers would know about, because they know about how to kill the pathogens and stuff in food and how long you have to freeze it based on your freezer temperature. If we could just figure that out. And I wonder if it works on lice.
Right. Well, beekeepers, some use cold temperatures to get rid of some pathogens in hives. And so if you just take the frames out, knock the bees off of them, and throw it in a freezer. And that can be a home freezer.
It's like the Varroa thing.
But it has to be there for a month. Yeah, Varroa mites.
Okay, yeah, I know.
And small hive beetles.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I know that there's a length of time you have to freeze some things to kill them off. They have to be longer, or you have to go to a lower temperature if you could do it for shorter times. Right. That's pretty cool. And I wonder, too, if you could just dry your clothes for longer, if you can't get it to that super high heat for an hour, if you just dry them for 3 hours consistently.
Well, I read actually a suggestion online is that you throw all the stuff in a van and you park it, not a van necessarily, but, some kind of vehicle, and you park it in an area where it's really hot with all the windows rolled up, and you could get that kind of heat.
I was going to say it's probably a van because you have more windows to increase the heat.
Right.
Yeah, like greenhouse effect on it.
Right. And that was hypothetical, but I think it's got some smarts behind it. So.
Lynn, thank you so much. This was grossly fascinating, and you're more than welcome to come back and talk about the bugs in our eyelashes, and we'll do a big old trigger warning on those things, dust mites and the whole creepy crawlies, and maybe we'll save that episode for like Halloween or something.
Yeah, they do good stuff.
They do, and the microbiomes and
peace. Yeah,
they're necessary, and they've always been there. Yeah. Lynn, thank you so much, and I appreciate you letting me tease you a bit today.
Thank you.
I'll see you next week.